A man returns home early from work one afternoon to find his wife spread out on the bed, puffing and panting. "What are you doing?" the man inquires. She stammers back. I think I'm having a heart attack." "Oh," cries the gullible husband. "Quick, I'll call an ambulance." He runs downstairs, picks up the phone and begins dialing 911. When his son, little Johnny, appears, sobbing his little heart out. "What's the matter, son?" asks the father. "Uncle James is in the closet with no clothes on, Daddy," replied his tearful toddler. Enraged, the man runs back upstairs, flings open the wardrobe and finds his brother there absolutely naked, just as his son had said. "You bastard, Jim," screams the man. "My wife is over there having a heart attack and you're running around naked, scaring Johnny." The girl goes into the doctor's office for a checkup. As she takes off her blouse, he notices a red H on her chest. "How did you get that mark on your chest?" asks the doctor. "Oh, my boyfriend went to Harvard and he's so proud of it that he never takes off his Harvard sweatshirt, even when we make love," she replies. A couple of days later, another girl comes in for a checkup. As she takes off her blouse, the doctor notices a blue Y on her chest. "How did you get that mark on your chest?" asks the doctor. "Oh, my boyfriend went to Yale and he's so proud of it that he never takes off his Yale sweatshirt, even when we make love," she replies. A few days later, a third girl comes in for a checkup. As she takes off her blouse, the doctor notices a green M on her chest. "Do you have a boyfriend at Michigan?" asks the doctor. "No, but I have a girlfriend at Wisconsin. Why do you ask?" It was the talk of the town when an 80-year-old man married a 20-year-old girl. After a year, she went to a hospital to give birth. The nurse came out to congratulate the guy. "This is amazing. How do you do it at your age?" He answered, "You've got to keep that old motor running." The following year, she gave birth again. The same nurse said, "You really are amazing. How do you do it?" He again said, "You've got to keep the old motor running." The same thing happened the next year. The nurse said, "You must be quite a man." He responded, "You've got to keep that old motor running." The nurse said, "Well, you had better change the oil. This one's black." Groom and bride went to their honeymoon, but the bride was very shy and did not want others to know that she is on honeymoon. So when she and her husband pulled up to the hotel, she asked him if there was any way that they could make it appear that they had been married a long time. He responded, "Sure, you carry the suitcases." Mendel was very old and suffering from a rare disease and could only drink human milk. "How can I get human milk?" Mendel asked the doctor. "Well, Ruby Frankenstein has just had a baby. Maybe she'll help." So every day Mendel went to Ruby's house for his daily feed. Ruby was a dark-eyed, big-breasted lady who, in spite of herself, gradually became aroused as Mendel lapped at her ripe breasts. One day, as he quietly lay silent, she whispered to him, "Tell me, Mendel, do you like it?" Wonderful," he sighed. "Is there..." She hesitated. Her lips parted. Eyes glowed. "Is there anything else you'd like?" "As a matter of fact, there is," murmured Mendel. "What?" Ruby asked breathlessly. Mendel licked his lips and said, "Maybe a little cookie." There are 3 women who always hang their laundry out in the back garden. When it rains, of course, the laundry always gets wet. All the laundry except for Brenda's. The other 2 women wonder why Brenda never has her laundry out on the days that it rains. So one day they are all out in their back gardens putting their clothes on the line. When one of the women says to Brenda, "How come when it rains, your laundry is never out?" Well, says Brenda, when I wake up in the morning, I look over at Paul, my husband. If his is hanging over his right leg, I know it's going to be a great day and I can hang the laundry outside. If his is hanging over his left leg, I know it's going to rain, so I don't hang it out. What if it's pointed up? Asks one of the women. Well, says Brenda, on a day like that, you don't do the laundry. A girl named Mary is in line to go to heaven, and while she's at the pearly gates talking to St. Peter, she hears a drill and then a scream. She asks, "What's that?" St. Peter replies, "Oh, that's just an angel getting her halo fitted." The woman thinks about it and then starts to talk to him again. Then she hears another scream and asks, "What's that?" St. Peter smiles and says, "That's just an angel getting her wings fitted." She says, "F this, I'm going to hell." St. Peter says, "But they raped you and so is you there." She just smiles and says, "At least I have the holes for that." Flat-chested young lady went to Dr. Smith for advice about breast enlargements. He told her, every day when you get out of the shower, rub the top of your nipples and say, "Scooby Doo, I want bigger boobies." She did this every day faithfully. After several months, it worked. She grew great boobs. One morning, she was running late, and in her rush to leave for work, she realized she had forgotten her morning ritual. At this point, she loved her boobs and didn't want to lose them. So she got up in the middle of the bus and said, "Scooby Doo, I want bigger boobies." A guy sitting nearby asked her, "Do you go to Dr. Smith by any chance?" "Why, yes, I do. How did you know?" The man stood up and cupped his balls and said, "Hickory dickory dock." Tony had been feeling guilty all day long. No matter how much he tried to forget about it, he couldn't. The guilt and sense of shame was overwhelming. But every once in a while, he'd hear that soothing voice trying to reassure him. "Tony, don't worry about it. You're not the first surgeon to sleep with one of your patients, and you won't be the last. And you're single. So just let it go." But invariably, the other voice would bring him back to reality. "Tony, you're a vet surgeon." Couple were having trouble conceiving a child, so they went to a doctor. He examined them and concluded that the problem was one of insufficient penetration. He suggested to the man that they try the rear entry position. The man said, "What is that?" The doctor replied, "Just watch the dogs and do like they do." The man said, "My wife is very shy and she won't do that." The doctor replied, "Try giving her a glass of wine or two and she will lose all inhibition." Some while later, the doctor met the man pushing a stroller. "I see it worked," the doctor said. "Yes, it did, doc. But now the problem is my wife is an alcoholic." "How did that happen?" the doctor asked. "Well, every time we did it, it took 7 or 8 drinks just to get her out into the front garden."